Have you ever heard that phrase where your eyes are bigger than your stomach because you wanted loads of food but it turns out you couldn't eat all of the food? Have you heard that phrase? If you haven't, well, you have now, and it is real. You can Google it. I'm not making it up. Well, in my case, my 3D printer was bigger. No, wait, that doesn't work at all. Continuing the trend of garbage intros for videos on this channel, you may remember that maybe 2 weeks ago, I can't quite remember, I did a little video showing you some 3D printed scenery what I've been working on. It's by Dark Fantastic Mills. It's the Jaeger home scenery from their current Kickstarter. This video isn't sponsored. I'm not being sponsored for this. I've just had access to the pre-release files and I've been having a whale of a time printing all the things, except I had to stop myself from printing all the things because it was getting out of hand and I hadn't actually painted any of it, which was quite an issue because it needed to be painted so that I could make this video. The Kickstarter is in the last 48 hours. I want to give them a little boost. I want to send a few people their way, but I wanted it to be not just here's more stuff I printed, but here's what it looks like when it's all put together. I'm getting distracted. I don't know whether the camera is wonky or whether the monitor's wonky because there's a definite slant to the window that I'm seeing whilst I'm recording this, but I don't know if it's the whole thing is on this. I don't know whether it's that or that. I can't tell. Whatever. So yesterday I did what any sensible person would do, which is sit down and attempt to paint the whole lot in one day. I managed it in about 5.5 hours, although some of that was taken up by fixing the terrible priming job I'd done on them the evening before. And let me tell you, if you are sitting there and you're thinking to yourself, when is the best time to prime a load of FDM scenery, or any scenery, anything for that matter, it is not 5 o'clock on a Sunday in winter in the UK, because it's like -1 degree and it's also dark. So don't do it that way. That's how I did it, and it was a catastrophe. So I did have to start out by going over some bits that I'd missed using the airbrush, which slowed everything down, but it was fine. We got there in the end. And by the time I finished yesterday evening, by the time I'd sponged my, I was going to say little heart out. It's probably not that little. I don't know how big my heart is, but my average sized heart out all day. Finally, today, I was able to get it all out on the tabletop. I was able to put a couple of maps down, kind of show what it's going to look like when the party get there in D&D, and get those buildings just right. Just in the perfect setup for what should be a very fun fight at some point in the next, I don't know, it's D&D, like 1.5 years, 2 years, who knows. Now, of course, I've liked these designs since I first saw them. I really liked them. They look great. It's such a nice little modular set. There's going to be options for roofs. Like at the moment, I've got a kind of dragon skin, like monster skin roof on all of these, but there's going to be tiles, there's going to be shingles, there's going to be thatched roofs if you want a bit more of like a Viking look. There's a nice little kind of crossbeam thing going on the top, so that's going to be really nice. Mine are just the standard houses before the playable interiors were unlocked, so at some point I may end up just printing a whole load of it again so that people can go inside the house, and even the inside panels are customizable. There's just so much that you can do with these buildings. The modular aspect of it is just so cool. If anything, putting this map together, getting everything placed down and just seeing it all there, painted and kind of ready to go, it needs touching up in a few places, and frankly I forgot to print things like the walkways for the broken walls, but that's my bad, that's my fault. I can sort that in like, 2 hours? So that's fine. But getting it all laid out and all set up just really reignited the love that I already knew I had for this set, for these buildings, for just this whole aesthetic. I absolutely loved it from start to finish. And now the audio is going to go to hell because I recorded this next bit in my dining room, so good luck. So this is like the finished little village, which is made of the Jaeger home modular scenery, which is on its Kickstarter and its last 48 hours right now. So if what I just put together looks fun and you have a 3D printer, an FDM printer, then go and check it out because it's great. There are so many buildings unlocked now and so many different styles. Like, I really love these kind of like monster skin roofs, which are a big part of the background for the setting that they've done for Jaeger home. But Dark Fantastic Mills also knows that maybe not everyone wants to have, monster hide roofs. So they've got like tile roofs, like shingles. They've also got thatched roofs unlocked. Right now, these small houses, they don't have a playable interior, the ones I've built. but they will. You'll be able to have playable interiors where you decide what the inside looks like and the outside, because it's all done through panels you attach to the kind of base structure. It's really, really good, and it got me so inspired, this like scenery set. I just wanted to build something cool with it, and this is kind of what I've ended up with. So this is a village where there used to be monsters. They used to hunt them, they used to use them for meat, for clothing, for roofing material. The old iridescent scales going on there, especially that one, which I really like. And then the monsters suddenly stopped showing up and they couldn't work out why. And then a bunch of undead started walking up the beach across some of the grassland towards the village and started attacking the walls. And they managed to drive them off and it was fine, but then it started happening every single month. Every 30 days, undead started swarming the village until the walls were broken, including the walkways on the top, because I forgot to print them. Let's just pretend we didn't see that. And so the villagers had to improvise. So they modified the houses. The houses are where the houses are supposed to be, and they had to modify them to make a walkway so that they could defend their town. And it's all of this has just come from how much I like the scenery and the ideas that it gave me, and I love it. I love it. The designs are really cool. The modular nature of it is really nice. The way it prints is fantastic. Like, I've had pre-release files, but I think with one exception, they've been absolutely flawless, and that one exception was fixed the moment I said anything about it. So we're all good. It's such a fun set of scenery, incredibly modular, incredibly customizable, playable interiors and exteriors. It just got me so inspired to do something with it. And as like an end of arc battle, I feel like that is pretty cool. You know, rushing down this kind of cursed earth to face the undead, having to pull back into the village to protect the villagers themselves, having a big fight in the middle, like close quarters, limited room for maneuverability. It's going to make for a really fun D&D fight, and this is just such a cool setting for all of that. So yeah, as I said, it's like the last 48 hours on Kickstarter right now for Jaeger Home from Dark Fantastic Mills. So there's a link in the description and the pinned comment. This is not a sponsored video, I just love this stuff, and I've been working with them a bit as they've kind of released different bits, and I've kind of been printing bits here and there, so it's like, I guess like test printing kind of thing. I just love this stuff. Absolutely love it. So yeah, go and check it out. I'm super happy with this, and I will probably do a follow-up when we've had this fight so you can find out how it went, I guess. Now I know at this point you have to be thinking to yourselves, but how did you paint all of that? In like 5 hours? Really? How did you actually paint all of that in such a limited amount of time? Easy! I did the sponge method. It's something that is actually shown on the Kickstarter page itself for Jaegerhome, and it's the way that Dark Fantastic Mills paints a lot of their stuff, and I've never tried it before, so I had to give it a go. I got myself some acrylic paints, I got myself a bunch of sponges. This lot, look at that, oh look at all the colours, look at all the colours. Well, yellow. And I believe the technical term for the method I used with the sponges and acrylic paints is what's it called? It's going to town on it like it owes you money. Look, I'll be honest, there was no subtlety here. There was no attempt at being as careful as possible, but there was a lot of, I don't have a lot of time to do this, and I want this whole thing to be ready for tomorrow. So I'm just going to have to go wild with it, and that's exactly what I did. I used one paint for the kind of normal wood colour, and that was just a raw sienna from PBO Studio Acrylics, an opaque paint, and all I did was just slam it all over the wood elements, maybe giving it one, possibly two other little dabs here and there if I wanted a bit more variation in that colour. The painted wood was just a mix of like a kind of pale ochre and white, which I got on pretty heavily, pretty thick. I kind of wanted it to look like it had been absolutely slopped on when they painted the beams. Some of them bit more colour than others because I wanted some of it to look worn and some of it to look kind of freshly upkept, if that makes sense. The greys and the stoneworks was just black and white mixed together in varying amounts, and I don't think it's particularly consistent across any of the stonework itself, but you know what, it looks vaguely like stone, so it's fine. The roofs took an unexpected turn because I accidentally used an iridescent paint for the bluey-greeny ones, which was not intentional, but you know what, it came out pretty nice, and I quite like the effect it gives, so I'm all good with it. The red ones were just a dark red and a light red on top, and that was it. And for ultra cheaty status, I just used a poster pen, just a silver metallic poster pen to go over the metallic things on the models. Now, to be honest, I need to go over them again. They're not fully done. I need to properly actually draw around it, but you know what? If you are in a panic, if you suddenly realised, oh, I was supposed to have an entire battle map done, I'm supposed to have all of this done for the next session, and the next session is tomorrow, I mean, I can't really knock it. I can't knock it. You can get a good table's worth of scenery knocked out in probably, if I was better at it, and a bit more practice, an evening I could probably manage. And you know what? It looks fine. It looks fine. It's scenery on a battlefield. You're going to be focusing more on the minis. You're going to be focusing what's happening around you from your kind of, you know, a good couple of feet away, which is your standard for looking at battlefields as a whole. It looks perfectly serviceable. So I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm going to go back and, you know, build it up a little bit. I'm just not going to leave it like that. I want to put some grass effects, and I want to put some rust. I want to put rust on some of the metals. Rust. Oh no, the word rust has lost all meaning. That's bad. At the end of the day, I'm super happy with how this came out, especially given how long I spent working on it, which was not all that much time. And it does go to show that with the right technique, you can slam out a table's worth of scenery in one day, in one evening, if you really go for it. And now I'm just excited to do it all over again with some slightly different stuff. Probably, again, from the Jägerholm set, because, well, now there's like shingled roofs, which kind of totally changes the whole look. And I know that there's been like stone panels for the walls unlocked, which basically transforms it from a kind of Monster Hunter sort of vibe to, well, city streets. Like actual city streets with multiple small terrace houses and stuff. You could totally do that now. And now I want to do that. And now I'm thinking about that. And so I'm going to go and start printing again. The Jägerholm Kickstarter is in its final 48 hours or so, give or take, given how quickly I can get this nonsense edited. Who knows? So head over to their Kickstarter page using the link in the description or in the pinned comment. Once again, it's not sponsored. It's not sponsored. I just want to talk about it because I'm excited about it. So there you go. Thank you very much for watching. Look out next week because streams will be starting again. I'm finally not coughing. I'm not coughing. I'm not like ill. I've actually recovered. I'm back to normal. Apparently slightly manic. I don't know what's going on there, but it's fine. We're leveled. It's just a slightly higher level than before. We're all good. So we're going to start streaming again next week. So keep your eyes peeled. Peel them like a pair of grapes. All right, I've got to stop. What the hell am I even talking about?